Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you I think it's one of the kids' most favorite meals. It's super veggie packed. It's all up to you how much veggies you put into it, but they're called veggie roll-ups. And today I'm going to show you how to make them. I found it on Pinterest, so I will link where I got the recipe in the description below. But these are honestly so delicious, and it's really up to you what you want to put in them. You can make it any way you want, and they're fun, they're easy, and let's just get started.
Hi.
Hi. So first thing that I'm actually going to do is I'm going to peel carrots and dice some onions. The carrots I'm going to steam until they're super soft. And the onions I am just going to put into a frying pan and cook them up until they are clear and translucent. So that way what you're actually going to do is take whatever veggies you want. So I also have peppers, sweet peppers as well. And I might throw some of the kale that I froze. I might throw some of that in, and you just put it into tomato sauce. But what I'm actually going to be using is a mushroom pasta sauce. So that way there's already mushrooms in there, there's already seasoning in there, and then I'm just gonna throw peppers in. I'm going to throw the steamed carrots in, I'm going to throw the cooked onions in, and then what you're gonna do is just blend it all up. I used my emulsifier, which is just like the hand stick thing that has the blade underneath. That way it just emulsifies all of the veggies inside, and that's basically gonna be your pizza sauce. So you can put whatever you want in it. So that's the great part, is you can jam pack it with as many veggies as you want. But yeah, so the other thing I also wanted to note is I'm actually going to be keeping, and I learned this from Acre Homestead. So again, if you're not following her, man, you've got to follow her. She has so many great little tips and tricks for you around the kitchen. So this is what I learned from her. I'm actually going to keep the peels from the carrots and the onions. I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer, so that the next time that I want to make a broth, like a chicken broth or like at Thanksgiving, a turkey broth, throw those in. So take them out of your freezer, throw them into your slow cooker, and that way all of those flavors come out as well. And every time that you peel carrots and onions, just keep adding to the bag in the freezer. So smart. But anyway, so we will get started on just prepping the sauce. One of my most favorite kitchen gadgets is my KitchenAid chopper. So it's just this little chopping, I think it's like 2 or 3 cups, I don't know. But what I do when I'm chopping something up, and I don't care how big it's chopped up, which is usually like most of the time. So right now, peppers, and then I'm gonna do the same with the onions. I'm just gonna basically cut them into big chunks and let this do the chopping, and it can chop it, like you can just pulse it and make it chop as big or small as you want. And I kind of want these to be small anyway, because we're just going to be emulsifying them into the sauce anyway. That's right. So Joseph also loves it too. Few notes on this recipe. It is amazing for any vegetables that you need to get used up. So I had actually bought a thing of onions, like a little bag of onions, not realizing I still had like half a bag at home. So I put 2 onions in here, and I'm actually making a really big batch of this because you can actually make a pasta sauce out of this. So if you just throw it in with some cooked pasta, it tastes amazing. You can also, what I've done before, is thrown like cream cheese into it and let it melt with some like cheddar cheese or Monterey Jack cheese or anything like that. So this recipe is very versatile in the sauce way. So you can use any vegetables you want, whatever's going bad in your fridge, just use it all up. And I'm making a big batch, A, because I'm making 2 of the veggie roll-ups. So I'm doubling the recipe and making 2 of them. And B, so I have some left over so that we can just make pasta or something later on. And if I don't get it used up, then I'm just gonna put it in the freezer and freeze it for the next time we want to make veggie roll-ups. I'll have pasta available. All I'd have to do is just thaw it out and make the veggie roll-ups. So that's just my little tidbit on this. The other thing I wanted to note was that I said that I was going to cook the onions on their own, but because I have extra time right now, I'm actually just throwing it all into the pot and letting it just simmer down so all of the flavors can just combine in the pasta sauce. And then I'll come out and I'll taste it and see if I need to, well, see if I need to add garlic. This family adds garlic to everything. Josh has tried adding garlic to eggs before. Didn't go over well, but just see what other flavors we need to add to it before we make the veggie roll-ups, because you're going to want the sauce to cool down as you're making it, kind of thing. Like when you're actually ready to roll up your veggie roll-ups. But anyway, I am going to drain the carrots, throw them in there, and let the sauce just simmer for a while because this girl's hungry. All right, so I just added some minced garlic, not fresh. I do buy it in like a jar. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do is show you the emulsifier, and then I'm gonna let it cook a little longer before I taste it. I can smell a really strong onion smell. I did put 2 onions in there, but no biggie. Nice hair. No biggie though. We can always put some seasoning stuff in there to cover the taste of the onion, and the longer you cook it, the less oniony it's going to taste anyway. So let's show you how to emulsify. This is an emulsifier, so it's got holes in the side, blade in the bottom. This one is by Cuisinart. This one is super cool because there's a whisk attachment, so you can actually just like whisk things up really quickly too. I have no idea if there's any other attachments to it though. It was given to me by my stepmom, and those are the only 2 I happen to see in the drawer most of the time, so I don't know. Here's how you use an emulsifier though. Put it near the bottom or it's gonna spray. So it's still a little chunky. It does not need to be completely smooth or anything. Joseph, put it down, please. It actually tastes pretty good. Doesn't taste too oniony to me. It's hot, so I was very careful. So what I'm gonna do is actually add a little bit of tomato paste to this, just so it kind of thickens up a little bit. And then I will put it aside and let it just cool down. As you can tell, he enjoys it because he's just sitting there eating the sauce off the emulsifier. So kids, like I said, kids really do like this recipe, and you'll see why at the end. So I have about half a can, maybe less in there, so I'm just gonna take a big scoop and see how it goes. And I only have my oven, like the burner on low, so like I'm not bringing it to a boil or anything. The only time I had it at a boil is whenever I was cooking the carrots, and then I just turned it down to low and let it just basically cook on low for a while. And you want to try to get as much liquid out as possible in a way, just so it's not like you're not seeing little bits of water sitting on top. I'm probably going to end up using the rest of this can, which is about probably a third of the can. And this can was a 13-ounce can, or 369 milliliters, depending on where you live and what you go by. And all I did was just turn the burner off, and I'm just gonna let it sit on the hot burner, and we're going to make the dough, because like I said, the dough needs to sit for half an hour anyway, so it doesn't matter that if this is sitting on the hot element or not. It'll just help the tomato paste hopefully thicken things up. And you are not going to use anywhere near this amount of sauce. I have it in one of my big pots, and I'm going to use like maybe an eighth of that. I'm actually just making this so that way I can basically, one, freeze it into batches so that I can put like a cup or two into freezer bags and freeze them for later, because then we'll have them. And second, so that I just basically made some pasta sauce for later in a few days. If we want some pasta sauce that is just jam-packed with veggies, we've got it. So it's great for like if I'm doing this just to make a lot of it so I have it for the future, especially with 4 kids. Sometimes you just need to be on the ball, and today apparently I am. All right, so before we make the dough, I always disinfect my countertops, because with having kids, dogs, all that stuff, you have no idea what's on there. So I don't just wash it, I like disinfect it, and then we're good to go. So we're going to make the dough now. All right, while the dough's rising, we need to preheat the oven to 400. Make sure there's nothing in there. And then I'm going to shred up cheese because I've used almost all of my cheese that I have in the bags in the fridge. So I'm doing Monterey Jack and just marble. meat come out. Then I will move these.
Why those 3 more spaces?
Ready?
Okay.
Ooh.
This. You want me to show you? If you press this, it will go. What? You say on it, it will go. And then you probably press this.
Yummer. All right, fun moment. The crap dough, because I didn't follow the instructions, didn't turn out. And the good dough that I made the second time that would have turned out, I threw in the freezer, so it didn't actually rise because it's wrapped in a bunch of plastic. So what I'm actually gonna do is take the sauce. I've noticed it's a little runny, so I'm actually gonna add more tomato paste whenever I get home. And I'll take the sauce and I'm gonna put it into bags and just freeze the bag so I've got it all ready for next Friday, because we don't have time right now. Joshua has soccer in like half an hour and these are supposed to be ready so we could eat them quickly, and they're not. So we are going to have to go find food before his soccer starts, because I haven't gotten anybody ready because this has turned out to be a disaster. However, they are delicious, so stay tuned for when we actually make them, because they're delicious. So this one has risen a bit. It is not doubled in size, but I don't have time to wait. So we are cutting this in half.
Then let's go look.
All right, this is not going to work. I was just editing this video and I wanted to make a quick note. I was able to freeze 3 bags. I put 2 cups of the veggie sauce per bag, and I was able to freeze 3 bags of that. So that way I can use it for future veggie pizza roll-ups, because as you know, I froze 2 balls of dough. And I could also just use them as a pasta sauce, which I said at the beginning of this video as well. The sauce is very versatile, so it's amazing. So I can also use it just as plain pizza sauce, because I did make pizza dough the other day and froze it. So with that big batch of sauce, I was able to freeze 3 bags of it.